You know what time it is.
What's up, beer people?
If you heard it on the hashtag beer time, it's true.
It must be true.
It's true. It is fact. Please, won't you name one of your beers Cart Horse?
And just do something terrible. Just brew a shit beer.
Stick your finger in there every now and again.
Stir it with a sock.
Every show, it feels like my first show.
Every show is a new adventure.
Did I make sense there? I think I did.
I love them all.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another podcast of Hashtag Beer Time with me, T-Bone Troy, the show where we talk to some rather interesting and unusual folk from around the world. And this guest is no different. His name is Nick, and he is from Drifter Brewing Company, one of Cape Town's most loved and popular craft breweries at the moment. They come up with some amazing weird beers, Asian beers under the ocean, water restriction goza, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, excuse the pun. We chat to Nick about his travels to the US, to China, what he's doing in terms of brewing equipment and bringing it into the country. We have a great show. We chat about so much more, and I'm just going to let you get into it and enjoy it. Please do let me know what you think, and yep, we'll see you soon. Ciao.
Sure, what an intro. Let me just turn that off there. That was a horrid fade out there. But hello, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it is a little bit past 12 o'clock, but it is hashtag beer time. Thank you for tuning in to Oceans Vibe Radio. We have a very, very wonderful guest. I'm trying to think of an adjective, or I was never good at grammar at school. But let me just get into introducing you. It's Nick from Drifter Brewery.
How's it, Troy?
Yes, it's lekker to have you in the studio.
It's great to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to see you today and to drink some delicious beers.
You struggled with the park in the outside. I'm sorry. It happens.
Classic Cape Town.
Classic Cape Town. But you're here now, and that's all that matters. And I know that there's been a lot of hype about the show. I've posted the little blog on Oceans Vibe Radio website, so everyone's been kind of very keen to tune in, very keen to listen. I think the whole, not to take away from all the other beers, but the whole kind of emphasis on the show is this your new release on your beer. But we're going to get into that. We've got a whole show just to tackle this. I'm very excited to get into that. We usually start, and you've got some other goodies, which
there's some stuff I've just pulled out of the tank and some growlers here that we're going to try.
I'm so excited. So I think we need to start as where we always start, and that's opening our first beer. What do you recommend we open?
So this is our saltwater water restriction goza.
No ways.
It is currently in the tank. It's about 5 days away from being packaged.
Yeah.
Very special beer. So shall I open it and we can drink some, and then I'll tell you a little bit about the project and what we're doing with this beer.
You nailed it on the head. Let's do that. Do you have an opener? I've got it open.
I have my finger over here.
Hey, you you the MacGyver of the ocean.
There it goes.
There it goes.
Your glass, please, sir.
Oh. Welcome back, by the way.
Thank you.
I think
you were back in
you were here
the
about
continent of Africa
2 months ago in the studio, and now, that looks delicious.
There we are.
Oh, I'm very excited. Have you tried this before?
I've been trying it along the way while it's been fermenting and aging. Okay, so to get into this beer, we have obviously a severe water crisis in Western Cape at the moment. We'll get into that topic in a bit more depth later.
Massive.
But one of the exciting things we decided to do for the Cape Town Festival of Beer this year, and for this sort of silly season coming up, is to brew a specialty beer, because every 2 months we do our own specialty beers that we release that are usually only available at Legal Beers and at a few spots on tap. And this is one of those special beers. This is only going to be available on tap. But what we've gone and done here is we've brewed a traditional goza style beer, which I'm sure a lot of people know what the style is and what it should be. But what's unique about this beer is instead of adding salt just by itself to spice it up a little bit, we went and harvested some water from the Atlantic Ocean in order to save water, and we put that into the boil.
There is a lot of that water around.
There is a lot of Atlantic Ocean water. So we've added that into the boil, and hence you'll get a bit of saltiness in this beer.
Okay, that's amazing. I think we can't really assume on the show, even though that's what I do. But just give the people a brief background. I mean, you might know a bit more, but Ghost, all I know is that it's a German-style beer that's kind of been dug up and brought back to life by all the craft beer.
So the first thing we need to talk about with this style is how do you actually say the word goza, ghost, house?
Yeah, I just get gay.
So everyone has different ways of saying it. I always used to also call it a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
I contacted a old brewing friend of mine in Germany. He's very familiar with the style, and he said all over the world the correct way to pronounce this beer is goza.
Goza. Okay, well,
so there's a silent ah.
I'm gonna give this a goza. Okay, cheers. Thank you.
Cheers. The brewing style originated in the late 1600s in Germany. It then disappeared for about 200 years. It disappeared, and then it came back to life again. And over the last, say, 10 years, people have started to brew it again. In the States, there's lots of people brewing gozas now. And it's quite an exciting beer to brew because you can play around with a lot of different brew techniques. You can kettle sour, you can add acidulated malts, so there's different ways to make it slightly tart and slightly sour. And you can also add loads of cool little adjuncts such as coriander, salt water, lemons, limes.
What is your percentage of seawater?
So this one is brewed with a small percentage. It's about 7% of ocean water. Yeah.
When do you add it?
In
the mash?
No, what we've done is we added it near the end of the boil. We actually take the salt water and we boil it first on another system just to basically try and get any of the nuchus out.
Yep, you want that.
And then we add that to the end of the boil.
Well, I must say this.
Tell me what you're getting there, Troy.
I'm getting a very subtle note. You know when you've been swimming in the ocean and you, for whatever reason, you put some of the salt water goes into your mouth and then you spit it out, but then you walk to your towel and you dry yourself off. You get back home, you've still got that little coating of saltiness in your mouth.
Yes.
I'm getting hints from that. It's not that sea powerful, but I'm getting that kind of coating at the end. I'm also getting a lot in the aroma, but I was expecting a massive hit of saltiness in the mouth, but it's actually not.
No, we didn't want it to be overwhelming. We want people to come back and have 3 or 4 or 5 pints. Because this beer, when you're drinking it for a good cause as well. So part of this beer at the Cape Town Festival of Beers this year, every pint sold, we're going to donate 5 rand to this incredible organization called Flow, which is a non-profit that works here in Cape Town. And they are specialists on water conservation and doing projects in townships and less developed areas to help people with water conservation. We're going to be donating 5 rand from every pint sold at the festival of this style of beer to this organization. So it's a good cause.
Nick, that's massive. I'm talking now from a brewing perspective, from a craft beer industry standards where we are. And I mean, no one else is doing that. So this is just, let's forget about the marketing side of things. I mean, you guys have just played out of your boots. That's a great thing to do. So, yeah, I'm impressed.
Thank you, sir.
I'm impressed with your strategy, and I'm impressed with your beer. This is delicious. Is there a lot?
Yes, we have 48 kegs available.
Is it only at Cape Town Festival of Beer?
After Cape Town Festival of Beer, it will be available at some select outlets on tap, and also at the Drifter Bar, obviously, which is open on Friday evenings.
I seriously think you're going to have trouble keeping up with this. This is delicious. This is if I'm going to try and explain it to people listening, it's like a very soft, maybe pale, maybe blonde. Is that what was the base malt before I butcher it?
Yeah, the base malt was mostly a pale.
Yeah.
But a Pilsner thrown in.
Okay.
And then a touch of Munich malt and some Caramel Pilsner as well.
Okay, cool.
So it's a very simple base malt. The idea behind this beer is you really want to focus on it being very a light sessional beer, and it's supposed to be slightly salty and tart. So it's one of those beers you're going to drink in the hot German summers in the beer halls, and you really can smash them by the liter. That's the idea.
Dude, this is amazing. This is really good. Thank you very much for bringing this. I'm super stoked.
Pleasure. You're the first person to try it outside of the brewery. So
yes!
Awesome. And
My
if
job
the-
here is done at hashtag beer time. That's all I wanted, to try beers for the first time.
Great. And if the feedback comes back positive with this beer, then yeah, you'll definitely see it on shelves all over the country in bottles.
And you know what? I'm just thinking out loud now. You said this was a 7% seawater. You could almost release a range of 7%, 14, 21%.
And then the hardcore one where it's
and
just
then a
salt water.
No, exactly. But you can, and then I think that'll appeal to the beer nerds 100%.
For sure.
You get a little collection going there. Before I forget, speaking of beer nerds, there's a little competition. We sometimes have a competition on the show, and I just thought, no, let me mention it right in the beginning of the show, and then we can announce a winner at the end. That makes sense, right?
That is usually how competitions work. Well done.
Usually our competition. Actually got a previous winner contact me yesterday or today and said, do I still get those tickets? And I was like, oh shit, I still need to give you tickets. So
Can't swear on air, Troy.
no, you can say whatever the fuck you want.
Oh.
Yeah. No, although it usually happens.
Does it automatically go beep?
Yeah.
What the beep?
Yeah.
Oh, there, it's automatic.
I beep it out at the end. Okay, so the competition, ladies and gentlemen, is to win a set of tickets to this year's Cape Town Festival of Beer, where yours truly will be, and Nick from Drifter, and a host of other breweries. So the competition, I think we said you need to go onto Facebook, you need to go onto hashtag Beer Time, the page. It's easy to find, and there's a post on today's show. I think all you have to do is comment underneath, or you could tweet, doesn't matter, but you need a comment and just say who you're looking the most. Which brewer are you looking forward to seeing the most?
The most good-looking brewer.
No.
Ooh, this is exciting.
no, don't put words in my mouth. Yeah.
Whoa, this Goza is very excited.
That Goza just popped there. So which brewer are you looking forward to seeing the most at Cape Town Festival Beer? And you can put, if you want, you can put hashtag Beer Crush. So we should get some interesting comments coming through.
That's very exciting.
Yeah. My money's on JC.
That shiny head of his, I do like it.
He is a devil. Hey? Who else? Who else is the... Oh,
There's too many.
There are too many. Yeah, there are too many. Well,
We should do a beer pageant where they all go up and parade on the stage.
we were talking about a few weeks ago, we were talking about mascots. They're not enough mascots in the craft beer world in South Africa. So I'm hoping to see a few more mascots in the next few.
We have our mascot, our new one. It's recently it's going to make his debut appearance at the Cape Town Festival of Beer. If you see
Look at
him,
this.
run up and give him a hug. He might bite you.
Okay.
Yeah. He can't move very very fast, but it'd be quite surprising.
Sure. Yeah. Beer festivals and mascots. You can just imagine what's going to happen. But yeah, I think we do need more mascots. Right. So that was the competition. Done and dusted. We'll check that at the end of the show. And I know that we've got some other stuff which we'll announce coming up later. I know that Lucy's got a competition that she's running. We'll mention that in a while.
Fantastic.
Let's get back to Drifter.
Drifter.
Talk to me. I'm loving what Drifter's doing at the moment.
Great.
Let's start moving slowly towards these special projects that you're doing. I think a lot of people, other beer fans, if I can say that, are aware of what you've done with the ocean aged beer. We're all just dying to try it now. But what I want to talk to you first, is I don't think I've ever told you, and I'm going to tell you just between you two, just between us two.
And the listeners.
I really respect and admire what you're doing as a craft brewery. Just in terms of, there's a host of factors that define what a craft brewery is. But what I like about you guys and Drifter is that you've got a story, you've got a background, you've tied in a hobby or an interest into a brewing company. You've taken two things that you're really passionate about, and you've married them together.
Well, you said it right there. It's craft, and part of craft is about crafting new products and exciting things that haven't been done before.
Yeah. So
And that's what we love to do.
well, I just think I obviously get to see a lot of beers and breweries start up, and I just think the big mistake that a lot of them make is there's no marriage or mixture of an interest. They just kind of get some stock standard recipe, get some stock standard imagery off the web. They put together a logo. They think this will be great. There's no passion or there's no interest that they have behind that. And I think what you've done, you're a qualified deep sea diver. Is that the correct term? Or just a diver?
Yeah, MSDT, so diving instructor. Yeah.
There we go.
Sure.
So you've taken something that you're good at, you're passionate about, and you've married it into your brewery, and it's just you've already created that niche market now that other divers or other beer folk can join and relate to. So
Sure.
that's just for me, marketing in craft 101, craft beer.
Yeah, so ever since we started Drifter, our goal from the beginning was always to do interesting and exciting brews that made us very passionate and really amped in the morning to get up and play with. We've obviously got our 5 core beers that we do, and we love those beers, and we love brewing them. But at the end of the day, we don't want to just become a production brewery where we're just producing beer and sending it out all the time.
Yeah.
And that's why we have this program where every 2 months we do a collaboration brew with Swakala Brewery up north. And that's always an out there crazy type of beer that we do. Like our last one was our weekend special, which was a lemongrass white IPA, which was absolutely incredible. I really enjoyed that beer, and I enjoyed working on the project with Luca.
Just entertain me. What is lemongrass?
Lemongrass is
The Thai, that Asian.
exactly. It's a thin, long-bladed grass that grows in more tropical, hotter climates, but it does grow all throughout Limpopo region.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I use it a lot for cooking. Comes in these long stalks, so what you have to do is you break it and you bang it as much as you can, and you can also crunch it. And you slice them all the way along the length of the lemongrass, and then we chuck that at the end of the boil, like a
Wow.
whirlpool hop. Yeah, and it turned out very well. It came out and shined in the beer. I'm sure a lot of you people listening,
I think if I've had that. I haven't
tried it. It was in League of Beers box last month. Was it the month before?
I need to have a word with the League of Beers.
Sir Rob.
The tasting captains. I'm sure they listen. Quick shout out to the League of Beers tasting captains. They listen most of the time, and that's pretty cool.
Shout out to Rob Haynes over there. Hope your jet lag's not too bad.
Yes, you guys have just come back from China.
Ni hao?
Ni hao.
Ni hao?
Is that all you learned? Did you learn some other stuff?
Xi?
Okay. I don't. I'm not going to even test your. I'm just going to smile.
Well, here, I learned this. Kampe. Say it with me.
Kampe.
Kampe. It means-
Kampe.
So in China, there's no such thing as cheers. It's always kampe, which means bottom up. You have to finish your beer before you put it down.
Oh,
It's very rude.
I apologize. I did not mean that.
Troy is now currently downing this goza.
I feel bad for them. Ni hao.
So that is one of the lessons I've learned in China. Be careful who you cheers and when you say kampe, because you can end up getting drunk very quickly, especially when you're in a business meeting. They love doing that.
Tell us
And then they love
quickly.
negotiating terms after you've drank.
Why were
2
you
liters.
why were you in China
So, to put a long story short,
with Rob Haynes?
okay, we'll get to Rob a little later. But to put a long story short, when we first opened Drifter Brewing Company here in South Africa, I had an idea of the certain type of equipment that I wanted. I was lucky enough to learn to brew at some of the better breweries in the world in Portland, Oregon. And I come from an engineering background, so I sort of knew quite a lot about the process flow and about the equipment and that sort of thing.
Good.
So I had an idea of what equipment I wanted to get and to build my brewery, and we had a budget. So unfortunately, we couldn't buy the lovely German equipment or even the Italian equipment. It was just out of our budget. So we looked at producing it locally. We couldn't find anyone we really wanted to work with, so we went to China. On that first trip in China, it was quite mind-boggling to see China. First of all, I had no idea what it would be like, and
I can imagine just a
it's a huge
mind
beep.
Yeah, mind deep.
Exactly. 1.85 billion people now. And the easiest way I can describe it is you just see these ant farms for days. You look off into the distance and there's these towers and towers just of people and factories and everything. And so we went,
Kind of scary.
one of my colleagues and business partners, Sean and I, we went initially and we traveled on the bullet train, which is already quite an experience, to the middle of mainland China.
Do they really squash people in there?
Yeah, they have two guys that push you. Those are the undergrounds.
That's
It's only during peak hours, though.
crazy.
And we found a factory we wanted to work with in Jinan, in Shandong province. So we spec'd all of the designs of our brewing equipment, and we had the equipment built, shipped to South Africa, and we built our brewery. At the same time, I was approached by a couple of other guys that were also starting to set up breweries. The first one was Luca, one of my good friends up at Limpopo. He now has a brewery called Zwakala Brewery.
Yeah, well.
And so we did his equipment, and at the same time we were like, cool, there's so many people starting up in South Africa. It's a new beer scene. Let's help them bridge this gap. Let's help them start up breweries, focus on quality and really good equipment, and producing proper quality beer. So we started another company called Drifter Brewing Systems. And so far to date, we've done 6 breweries in South Africa, and we're busy with another brewery in Alaska, which I'm going to install in 3 weeks' time, and one in Nicaragua. So a lot of cool projects on the go.
Jeepers. Okay, I didn't know that. You completely threw me off there. I thought you were going to say, are we busy with one in Springbok or, some local scene. But that's amazing that you're going all the way to Alaska. And
So yeah, we've had really good feedback in both local and international brewing circles with our equipment. It really is top quality and at reasonable prices. We have inline oxygen systems, Venturis, and carbonation stones and all sorts of stuff. So it's really, really good quality equipment at a fraction of the price you'd pay for buying it from Germany. So that's why we've sort of gotten some traction overseas as well.
And thank God you have some form of training or education in that engineering sphere, because I think that's what's definitely lacking locally.
For sure, and one of the challenges with dealing with the Chinese is the language barrier. But when it comes to engineering drawings, there's no language barrier. It's all just drawings, so
Yes.
you can get it right.
Numerical.
Yeah. So this last trip was quite exciting for Drifter. We're now in our.
So why was Rob there?
We'll get to that just now.
Okay, I'm
So
dying.
Rob
to know.
joined us a little later in the week.
Okay.
But I went a few days before this trade show we went to in Shanghai
Okay.
to go to our factory and to inspect some of our new equipment coming in. So it's an exciting time for Drifter. We're just growing in capacity. By the end of this year, we'll have tripled in size, just in order to keep up with our demand, both locally and abroad. And also quite exciting, we'll be one of the first breweries. There might be one or two others to have a centrifuge installed in our brewery. So we're going to start centrifuging our beer.
So just explain to the people listening, where does that fit in the beer process?
Cool. So from after your beer is fermented, you usually cold crash it. You put it as cold as you can, usually around 2 degrees, and all of your particles and things will fall out of solution. A lot of breweries in the world, what they will do is they filter the beer and then they'll pasteurize it before going to packaging. We have steered away from this at Drifter because we feel that filtration does take away from the flavor and the hop profiles, especially with some of our beers like our coconut. It take away from the flavor.
Yeah.
And up until now, we've never had the resources behind us to actually invest in a centrifuge. And so now, we're getting a centrifuge. Basically, what it does is the beer will pass through this machine. It'll spin it very, very, very quickly, extremely quickly. Makes a hell of a lot of noise. And all of the solids and particles will go to the outside of the machine, and they will get tossed out, and then the clear beer comes through. The cool thing about a centrifuge is you only waste up to 2% of the beer, where traditional filtration, like a candle filter or a diatomaceous earth filter, you're going to lose up to 12% of your beer.
Sure,
And that's a
okay.
lot of beer you're losing, and you're losing flavor along the way.
So in terms of filtration, the centrifuge is...
Oh, it's number one in the world.
Number one.
For sure. It's just only in the last 5-6 years have centrifuges been available to smaller breweries because of the new technology coming about. So there's a lot of electronics behind the machine. It's quite a complicated machine. But if you can get it right, it's the best way to filter, to separate your beer from particles. And then again, down the line, it gives your bottles 5 months more shelf life. It's just all around the best thing for a brewery.
I kind of think most South African breweries could do with a centrifuge.
They could, definitely.
Let's crack open another beer. Should we have... look,
Moving on to another project.
You can wave whatever beer you want in front of me. I think we can go for days on this.
Can I have your glass, please, sir?
Yes, you may. Let me just make sure it's clean.
Yeah, so just to finalize that topic we were talking on, we just got the Drifter team. We just got back from China. We were just over there checking out our new equipment and then also visiting a trade show just to see what the beer culture and the scene is over in China. And it is pretty mind-blowing. 1.85 billion people, so there's definitely a beer culture there. And
You managed to try any place, go to any places, or
of course, there's the classic ones in Shanghai, Boxing Cat Brewery, Shanghai Brewery. There's a lot of bigger ones such as the Beer Lady. She has over 700 bottles of beer. It's like a beer library.
It's a library. You can't go in there and read all the books.
Yeah.
You can try.
It's a big one. And it was nice for us South Africans to all be there together. There were 32 different South African companies part of the South African delegation. A lot of wine guys, olive oil, peanuts, chocolates, all sorts of cool bespoke industries there. From a brewing side of things, it was us, Drifter. There's Wakala Brewery from Limpopo. And we were also joined by Kevin and Philippa at Darling, which was really great time with them.
Oh, cool. That's nice.
Yeah.
And then Rob Haynes was there for Sugarbird, was he?
And then Rob tacked on and came with us, and he was there promoting his new gin, Sugarbird, and it was awesome checking out the scene there. And
he's done well. Hey? I mean, it's
very well.
Raised $1 million,
breaking records in crowdfunding in South Africa.
I'm trying to think what it is. It can't be the good looks. Do you think it is?
What good looks?
No, he's been said to be the prettiest guy in the craft beer industry at the moment. So.
No, he's a mover and a shaker. He's a good man, that one.
Yeah, always good to have him. Shout out to Robbie Haynes. So, okay, cool. So what beer have you poured me here? I've been very lucky enough to try this a few weeks ago, but I'm so excited to have it again.
So moving back from China to South Africa, and then we're going to jump over the Atlantic Ocean and head over to our favorite craft beer country in the world.
You've been busy.
The Americas.
You've been very busy.
Very busy.
Did you read my little blog there?
Yes, I did.
I thought about calling you a busy bee, but there's no bees in the ocean. So you've definitely been a busy merman.
No, you got to keep it busy in order to grow a company for sure. So this is another exciting project that's sort of got placed in our lap. Zan Zurowski, our national sales director, she's a machine. She is originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin in the States, and she used to work at this brewery called Lakefront Brewery, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They're one of the more well-known breweries in the States. They've been around about 35 years now.
Sure.
And they distribute throughout America and to about 35 countries all over the world.
That's weird. Sorry, I was checking their website. 30 years.
30 years of brewing.
Just put Drifter in that position. Imagine seeing your website and 30 years of craft beer. It's just like...
It's mind-blowing.
I mean, I can imagine we'll all be like a little bit big bellies.
And when you see the brewery and what they have going there, you can see what they've done. It's incredible.
Sorry to interrupt. Keep going.
So we managed to start a conversation with the brewers and the guys over at Lakefront Brewery. And we were talking about how we could work together and what we could do. And we've always wanted to get our Drifter beer over to the US because we've got a lot of friends and family, and that's originally where we used to live. We've always looked at that market and getting our beers over there. And so we said, let's do some brewing together, guys. And so we sort of did this trade exchange to start with. So their head brewer Ross flew over here from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and we brewed one of their most famous beers and most award-winning beers, their Eastside Dark Lager.
Nice.
Which is a dark Czech lager. So we brewed that on our system. And then 2 months ago, I flew over to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We brewed our coconut beer, which was quite an incredible experience for me to be able to brew on an amazing, larger system to ourselves, and to work with some of the best in the industry. I mean, put it this way, they're a brewery that has 2 full-time chemists and a lab, 10 full-time brewers on their brew house, packaging lines, all sorts of stuff. So they really are advanced and they know what they're doing. And it was the first time we were able to actually centrifuge our coconut beer, and it turned out to be incredible.
Really?
The flavor just came through.
Were you stoked?
Amazingly. Yeah, so stoked.
What was the big difference that you noticed?
It's just a slightly cleaner beer, and it's just that freshness of the coconut stays for much longer in your palate and your mouth. So we're excited to bring that into our local sales here in South Africa. So what you got in front of you here is the Eastside Dark Lager. When I read the side of the label, it says, they brewed our stranded coconut, and we brewed their Eastside Dark Lagers. Cheers to Lakefront Brewery, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And cheers to you for giving it a try. Cheers, Troy.
Awesome. Yeah.
So-
dig the label. Is it your own design?
It's a combination of our designer and their designer.
Cool.
Being a very well-established brewery, they have a full-time design team, and so it's a hybrid of what their original label looks like. So
I can't.
yeah,
wait.
5.5% ABV.
I can't wait for South African breweries, craft breweries, to get their own designers. It's not happening at the moment. Obviously, it's going to get there slowly. But yeah, you're just saying now, everyone's got there's a package manager, there's a water manager. I don't know. There's a whole, all this different cogs
There's
and
teams
networks.
for each
Yes.
category. Whereas, that's one of the exciting things about the small craft industry you have here and the startups is that it's sometimes a 1 or 2 man team. When I first started Drifter, it was just me. I was brewing and doing everything myself, and then slowly we've grown as the demand grows. So yeah, in front of you is what we're drinking, our Eastside Dark Lager. I'm sure a lot of listeners got to try this in this month's League of Beer box.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't got your hands on it, head over to Yuppie Chef website, and there's still some cases available, I think. It was a once-off limited edition brew. There's still...
What happens to once-off limited edition brews? Do you, if there's a good feedback, do you kind of think, okay, maybe introduce this? Or?
Yeah, then usually we'll put it on the back burner because we have so many other crazy ideas, and we'll bring it up again the next year and maybe tweak it and bring it back again in some other form or fashion. So one of the reasons why it's in demand is because it's a once-off brew.
Yeah.
So usually we don't reproduce the same beer again. This beer all went to League of Beers. It was also on tap at Banana Jam Cafe. A big shout out and thank you to Greg for letting us host our launch party there. It was
What a
fun.
great guy.
Oh, what a man.
What a man.
Gentleman and a scholar.
You know that if you say Greg Casey or Banana Jam, you get a free pint when you go to the...
Every time you say Greg Casey or
Every
Banana
time
Jam.
you say Greg Casey or Banana Jam, you get a free pint whenever you visit.
Really? And is it a free pint for every single time you say Greg Casey or Banana Jam?
Do you know how many pints I've got lined up for me at
Really?
Banana Jam?
I've just got, it's what? Who owns Banana Jam? It's Greg Casey, right?
Greg Casey.
Yeah, so then that's now 4 times I've said it. So it's
You
4
could
pints
go
for me.
in there and you could basically just have a great eat.
And hopefully Greg Casey will be there at Banana Jam when I go in and have my free pint.
This
At
is
Banana Jam.
free marketing, advertising
I'm on
right
8
here.
pints now, thank you.
Yes.
So yeah, exciting beer, and that's what we're drinking.
I'm very happy that you've got a dark lager. I've always waited and wondered when we're going to have a bit more of a movement towards a dark or black lager, and I don't think there are too many out there. I know that there was Stan Even in Durban who had a dark lager. They launched about maybe 2 years ago, and I just think there's
so many styles out there. People must not be scared to play with styles and
No,
be
not at
experimental.
all. And
just because there hasn't been a dark lager on the market before doesn't mean people aren't going to be amped.
I'm almost tempted. It might almost be like a little bit of a cheat for craft brewers, but to experiment in the lager sense, because, and also we tried it on the show last week with is it Brewman, and they called their beer a lager, but when we drank it, it was an IPL. It was a very hoppy lager. But what they've done is that, what I'm thinking is that they've attracted the lager drinkers, because there are people who will, inverted brackets, only drink lager. So now they've got this
Give me
beer.
a lager, eh? Which one tastes most like a lager, eh?
This one's a little branch off from a lager, and I think that's a great stepping stone and an invitation for people to come into the craft beer
There's
world.
so much you can do with a lager. It's funny you say that. On my recent trip to the US, I actually visited a brewery that only does lagers, and they had 22 different lagers on tap, and
Really?
every single one was completely different from the other.
That's amazing.
So you can do it, and you can do it right, and they're extremely successful.
And were they? Can you give us some examples? Was it like?
I would have to bring up the menu, but yeah, IPLs. They even did Vice Lager hybrids. All sorts of crazy stuff. Like
My friend
wrap
bought
my head around what they were doing.
My friend bought me a T-shirt back from the States, and actually says "Sympathy for the Lager." It's actually a beer. It's a lager style beer, but they call it "Sympathy for the Lager" because craft brewers all go for ales. So this one is like, hey, give me some
Poor
attention.
lager in the corner. He just wants to come out and shine his colors and not just be a light, boring beer.
He just wants some time in the sun. Great beer. Thank you very much for bringing this. I do hope and pray that you make it again next year. And I hope that you get more collaborations going. Or
So speaking of collaborations,
Their exchanges.
I'll be heading over to the west coast of the States again in 3 weeks' time for probably our biggest collaboration of the history of Drifter. So we're going to be working with a company, a brewery out of Portland, Oregon, one of the most famous breweries in the States called Breakside Brewery.
Breakside, okay.
Breakside. They've been around for a long time now. They now have 3 breweries. And they really are on the forefront of cutting-edge beers and just the cool things they do. I mean, they're very well known on the whole west coast of the States. And I was fortunate enough to meet Ben, the head brewer of Breakside, last year when I was over there. And we've been working on some projects together.
Nice.
And we're going to be brewing a very exciting beer that we're launching into the Portland market. We haven't finalized the recipes yet, but as a little teaser, it's going to be having a bit of baobab from South Africa, and it's going to be brewed with South African hops. And I'm really excited for that project. So another collab to come from overseas.
Very excited. You just reminded me, I brewed a beer on Sunday with Greg and Carl and Ross. We made a very basic vit, but what we're going to do, we're going to put all the foraged goods that we collected on our recent
Nice.
Southeast trip. We went to Franschhoek and we went to some farm where we just picked like herbs and plants and fynbos, and we're just gonna
poisonous in there.
No, well we did some research, but Greg's Greg managed to track down these little berries called num-nums, and they're the little pink things, and the plant is poisonous, but the berries aren't. So he's managed to.
So we did a Num Num Saison last year.
Did you? Okay,
yes.
cool.
It's an incredible plant to work with, and go for it. Num Nums are amazing.
Okay, good. So this. Look at this. Hey, this is very fortuitous. Look at this. Okay, good. So we're on the right track. So when we're going to add it into our secondary, I think, or we're going to experiment. We're going to bottle some with that sugar. We've made it into sugar concentrate. So we're going to bottle maybe a few bottles with that, and then the rest we're going to throw it into a secondary fermenter.
Nice.
And just
let it re-ferment.
Let it see what happens. Anything else that you can advise on?
Oh, well, if you're going to chuck it in the secondary, I would redose it again with some more yeast and let it
really? Okay.
Bump it up a few more %. Why not?
Whoa.
The Yum Yums actually have a lot of sugar. So take a Brix reading before, and then we'll see how much yeast you need to add.
That's what I need to do.
And if you have enough, and you really want to push it,
I can take a Brix reading from now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about a sugar concentration reading. There are different forms of how you can do that, but I want to get a sugar reading. Obviously, sugar gets converted into alcohol, but I want to take the sugar before it gets converted, and that way you can work out how much to add. Yada, yada, yada.
If you really want to have fun with it and you have enough, I would split another batch and dose it with some Brettanomyces, bottle that, and leave it for a year. Then you've really got a prime product.
Well, if Greg and Carl or Ross are listening, they're probably swiveling in their chairs right now because that's exactly something that they want to do. Okay, so a little bit of Brett in a secondary. We've got a barrel.
Just keep it away from your primary brewery.
Yeah.
Brett is a nasty monster, but if you make friends with it outside of your house. But you won't regret being friends with Brett.
Yes. Okay, so Brett, for people listening, Brett is a simplest explanation is that it's a sour agent or sour yeast that is not welcome in a lot of breweries or wine
or wineries.
But if you want a sour style beer, then that's actually something you want.
For sure.
My mouth my mouth is very dry from speaking.
Unique
I think we
New
need
York.
Unique New York. The Human Torch was denied a bank loan. Let's open the next beer. Do you have a coconut beer there?
I did not bring coconut, unfortunately. Yes, sorry. I apologize profusely. Is that what you're frothing for right now?
I was just thinking, you mentioned coconut earlier, about 10 minutes earlier, and I was just like, yes, okay, yes. But it's fine. Let's, I've got a beer here that I want to try.
Let's do that. I'd love to drink.
And then we can go on to yours, because I think let's break it up and do that. And
100%.
So, as you may know, I was in the the States. I was also in Canada for a while.
I did follow your travel adventures, and I was very jealous.
Thank you very much. I brought back it's called Collective Arts Brewing Company. And the whole idea behind it is that they have a different artist to do the every new beer, they have a different artist to do the label. This one, if I can explain it to the people, is a cross-section of a man chopped. It's a drawing. It's an illustration. It's a man chopped in half down the middle. And on the one side, you can see his brain and his head, and it goes down to his body. On the other side, it's just covered in bees. It's a beehive. So
it's a hectic label.
That's pretty weird. But the beer is called Prophets and Nomads. It's also a Goza style beer.
Oh, this is exciting.
And it's got pink Himalayan salt and coriander in it.
Fantastic.
I'm trying to see what else it says. It's a whole bunch of French writing because it is from Canada. It's 4.5% alcohol. If you want to visit the brewery website, it's collectiveartsbrewing.com. Ingredients: water, barley, malt, wheat malt, hops, yeast, coriander, Himalayan salt.
Tasty.
They're from Hamilton, Ontario.
I'm very excited to try this.
I'm just trying to see.
One of the things I've noticed with the new styles of Goza coming out of the West Coast in the States, and I'm sure very similar to the Canadian Gozas, is it's going to be a little bit more tartar than our one. So we were sort of entry-level tartness, still got that little tart tanginess, but let's give it a try. I'm very excited.
This says here, return for refund where applicable, 20 Canadian cents.
You should take it down to the local Renat Liquors and see if Manny's can give you a refund.
You see all the SAP brown bottles are now returnable. All the small 340 mils. You know,
Amazing.
It was only the
It
750
used to be
mils.
the quarts, yeah.
Now it's or your Castle, your Black Label, your Hunter. If you look at it, they've got all on their label now. You can
Let's not promote drinking those beers, though.
No, I mean, we're not here to drink those. Let's drink this delicious Ghost from Canada. I've saved it for a special occasion, and Nick, I feel that this is that occasion.
I feel honored, sir.
Ooh, it's a delicious can, 475 mils. Ooh. Okay.
Music to my ears.
Sure. Very aggressive pour, but there's nothing wrong with that. There we go, sir. Help yourself.
Thank you.
So this is very light in color. You can see very light in color. Okay, I want to give it a bit of a sniff. It does have a bit of like a herby.
Wow.
Trying to pick up what that is. But anyway, I'm going to give it a little taste.
Yo, that's sour bomb. Delicious.
That is amazing. So that's got a bit of salt, but the whole sourness comes in there now. And then just very quickly disappears.
Jeez. Clean, brilliant beer.
I'm trying to think what it tastes like when you drink it first up. There's some like liquid fruit or lemon drink that we used to do. I don't know if it was a Capri Sun. Remember Capri Sun? They had like a lime flavored drink. The little foil thing that you used
And
to
you pierce it, yeah, I
with
love Capri
the
Sun.
red straw, and they had like a lemon drink. This is like a cordial, a lime cordial.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of lime, a lot of tartness on the end.
But how quickly does that lime
Disappears
disappear?
and you have a dry mouth again. It's
And
great.
I'm just like, what? This is amazing.
So that's one more thing I forgot to mention when I was talking about the malt bill. So Gozas are always brewed with 40% wheat,
Oh, really?
which is what we did as well.
Okay, so
Yeah.
sure. So it is a close relative of any Wit or Weiss style beer.
Very, very, yeah. In terms of the malt bill, yes. But you're not using any Weiss or Wit strains of yeast.
Sure. Are you happy with this? I'm happy with this.
It's fantastic. It's delicious.
I'm enjoying this.
So one of the tricky things with brewing this style of beer is trying to control how much lactobacillus and that sourness you want in your beer. And there's two ways you can do it in terms of brewing styles. The first way, which is the easiest way in a production setting and easiest way to do it, is to use acidulated malt. So what you do is after you've finished your primary mash, so you're going to mash for 60 minutes, right at the end of the mash, you add the acidulated malt, you mill it, and then you add it, and you wait another 60 minutes.
Okay.
And what that does is it drops your pH quite rapidly. So that's the lactic acid in the acidulated malt. Then you...
And pH in beer
is very important.
is super important. I think.
So getting that pH down helps with the growth of the lactobacillus. And then what you do is you transfer it to your lauter, you lauter the beer, and you continue your normal brew process. You boil it, and that's it. The second way, which is the way we've launched 2 Berliner Weisses in the past, which is the way we make our Berliner Weisses as well, which is a very sour tart beer, is by kettle souring. So what you do then is you do a normal mash process, you use normal grain,
Yeah.
you do a normal lauter process, and once you're back in the kettle, you bring the beer up to 40 degrees Celsius,
Okay.
or down to 40 degrees Celsius, and then what you do is you dose the wort with some form of lactobacteria.
Okay.
And the way you can do that easily is by going and getting some SAB grain,
Okay.
which is covered in lactobacillus,
Oh, really?
lactic. You take a couple of handfuls of that, throw it into your wort, and put it on a blanket of CO2, and then just leave it for 18 to 25 hours. And what you do is you keep taking pH readings throughout that time, every 4 hours. Near the end, you want to take it every hour. And once the pH drops to around 3.6, 3.5,
So you've literally got your wort with a little bit of grain.
sprinkle the grain in, and all the lactic acid that coats the kernels of the grain 40 degrees Celsius is its prime environment. That's its home. That's what it wants to be in, and that's what it thrives in.
Okay.
And as that lactic's working, it drops the pH, and that's how you can monitor how much sourness you want. If you keep dropping it all the way down to 3 pH, that's going to be a very, very sour beer. It's going to be difficult to drink. So you want to make sure you monitor it very carefully.
So you want
Once it's 3.6 pH, you bring it up to boil again, and you boil it all off again.
Oh, really? Okay.
And then
cool.
you continue your normal brew process. So that's the way you kettle sour it. Kettle souring can be difficult in a bigger production setting, because to hold the temperature at 40 degrees Celsius can be difficult. In homebrew settings, we've done Berliner Weisses before we started Drifter with trial runs, and it's pretty easy just to pop down a beer Guevara and grab one of those heating blankets and just chuck it over the fermenter with a temperature.
That's the next thing we need is a heating blanket.
Yeah, you can get them easy.
They're out of stock there. So that's the
Tell them to get some more stock.
Yeah, we've told them.
And
that.
to be listening, order some more heating blankets.
Yes, we need some heating blankets. No, this is very interesting.
So that's a little bit of nerdery around the styles of a Berliner Weiss and a Gose as well.
Well, I'm glad you spoke about it, because I think there are people who enjoy listening about that, and I'm loving this new sour style beer. I
And
think
so what's cool about this is there's so many breweries in the States and all over the world that are pushing the boundaries and bringing out these old styles that need to come out again. Because, I mean, I love drinking this beer. If I find a Gose anywhere in this country, I'm going to order it, no matter what. And
you know what?
that's what we need to do.
I'm going to make a Gose.
Do it.
I'm going to do it. That's my next
Please.
beer. I have absolutely no idea what to do except from what you've just told me, but I'm going to research it and I'm going to do it. That's
Done. I'm
just
going to hold you to it.
Making an announcement to my fellow homebrew buddies that I think we need to make a sour beer. I think they'll be more than happy to do that.
I'm very excited.
Cheers. Thank you. This is
Thank you to Prophets and Nomads.
all the way from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada.
And we should definitely talk a little bit about the pink Himalayan salt. Do you taste that pink Himalayan salt? It's such a different salt you can taste that comes through in the beer. I'm talking complete rubbish.
Yeah. Sure. You put me on the spot there because I was like, oh, fuck, I didn't taste any salt. No, this is...
No, I'm just taking the piss.
This is good. Let's shift sides here for a bit and pivot, because we like to pivot on the show. Lucy is doing something. I don't know if you saw. I think she just announced it recently. It's a beer awards thing that she's doing. Earlier this year, there was the National Beer Trophy People's Choice Award. I can't remember exactly, but it was at Beer House, and they had to vote for their favorite craft beer, or just favorite beer in general. Long story short, whatever happened, but the winner was...
No, don't say it. I know.
You know who it was. It was Black Label. And
I don't agree with that study and how it's conducted.
no. So what Lucy's done, because she said in the post, like, a lot of irked a lot of people, and I can understand it irked a lot of people. So she's come up with her own beer awards. The beer, I'm going to butcher this. Let me just open it. The Brew Mistress. God, she's asked me to do this, and then if I butcher it, I won't get any Christmas presents. The Brew Mistress South African Beer Awards. So she's going to have on her blog a vote-in form where you can go and vote anonymously if you want for any brew or beer that you think should win. I think there are 10 different categories. You don't have to enter all of them, but I mean, it literally takes like 47 seconds here. She says, if you don't vote anonymously, if you put your name down, you could win a prize. So, a little tightrope there. But I'm going to put my name down. I'm going to say which beer should win.
Cool. You win a prize.
And then win a prize. There's nothing wrong with that. So, for those of you listening, head over to brewmistress.coza and you can clink. You can clink or you can click on the Brew Mistress South African Beer Awards.
Clink.
Blog posts. Get involved, people. Vote for your favorite beer, and that's just anyone. We let anyone play in our sandpits.
Great. That's very kind of you.
That's done. Cool. I think we can move on to our next beer.
Cool.
What do you have in our goodie bag?
Next on the lineup is a tried and classic. Many people have drank this beer and gone on to live normal lives. It is our Scallywag IPA.
What? Define normal.
Not sure, really.
I'm going to just wash my glass out here with that ghost.
So, the good old Scally, she's bold as the seven seas. And I've chatted about this beer many times before, but I'm going to go over a little bit about the brew techniques of how we do this beer, because it's quite different from your traditional style IPA and how we brew it. We use something called a hop bursting technique, which I've spoken to you about before.
Okay.
And yeah, most people know the Scally, and let's drink it.
I'm going to assume that you've changed the recipe and you've tweaked it a bit as it's gone.
It's been tweaked slightly, but it's still basically the same beer that we launched with 3 years ago.
Cool.
And very, very similar.
So you're very happy with it then?
100%. Always happy with the Scally. So what we do with the Scally is here in South Africa, we try and use as much local hops as possible, and that can be quite tricky when you're trying to create an IPA.
Wow, I can smell it. It's sitting on the table, and I can smell it from here.
That gives me warmth to my heart, Troy. That's what we go for. So this obviously IPA. It's gonna be a showcase for hops.
Nazi, I'm getting some
Nazi. And what we do in this beer is we blend a lot of West Coast American hops with South African hops.
Okay.
Which is what we don't do. Allows us to sell our beer not at an extreme price because it's not all West Coast hops. And it also comes out really well. So, in what way is it differently brewed from a standard IPA? So, in your standard brew...
I'm just going to stop you. It smells delicious.
Thank you, sir.
It smells incredible. I'm not going to drink it. I'm just going to keep smelling it.
This is the first time you've had this beer. What's going on?
I've had it before. I've definitely had it, but I haven't had it in a while.
You've usually had a few beers before this one. So.
Yeah, exactly. Tend to forget things in the old skull.
So usually when you boil, you do a 60-minute edition, 30-minute edition, and an edition at the end of the boil. That's sort of standard thing.
That's with the hops now.
Yeah, with the hops, adding the hops during the boil. So what we did initially is we did a lot of experimentation. We're like, we don't want to add hops during the boil like everyone else. Let's just play around. Let's add them during the mash. Let's add them before it starts boiling. Let's add it after it's boiling, all that sort of stuff. So we did a lot of experiments trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. And so now with this beer, what we do is we do a first wort hop, which means we add the hops before it starts boiling into the kettle. And then what we do is we add the rest of the hops during the whirlpool, right at the end of the boil. and then we do 3 separate days of dry hopping.
Wow.
So what you find on a commercial setting and scale when you dry hop is sometimes you add all the hops and they just fall through the fermenter and all the way to the bottom of the cone, and that's it. So they really don't have enough contact time with the wort and the already fermented beer in your fermenter. So what we've done now is we stagger our fermentations.
Okay.
So we'll stagger our dry hopping, and so we'll dry hop over 3 separate days, different hops and different blends.
Okay.
And then we also play around with temperatures at that same time. And then what we also do is we push those yeasts by blasting CO2 up through the bottom of the cones and getting them back into suspension.
Nice.
So we're trying to utilize the hops as much as humanly possible because they're a very expensive herb.
It is a very expensive herb.
Almost as expensive as their cousin.
Their cousin being the Lupulin marijuana one.
Correct.
I don't know what the Latin is, but it's the weed, the doobie. I was actually saying that the other day. I think we're going to see a movement towards beer made with.
There's
with
already
weed.
amazing brewers in this country doing it, and they've done a great job.
Yes.
I won't mention names in case some people get embarrassed.
Well, you do get a free beer. Yeah, no, I think we have actually mentioned it on the show. But anyway, we said his name is Schmeg Nacy.
Yes.
He's made some nice beers before. I've been sipping this beer and it's delicious. I'm getting a lot of hops. I'm getting a bit of a sweet candy almost.
That's good. So
Fizzer. Getting a fizzer.
Fizzer, great.
That is delicious.
So what's quite exciting from us, from Drifter Brewing Company, we've just been doing a lot of research over our growth over the last few years and looking at which beers have been doing what. And I'm happy to say that our sales of our Scallywag IPA have grown over 100% over the last year.
Do you have demographics on that? Where they're selling the most, or is it mainly local?
We're still working on that data. It's quite tricky to crunch numbers on that, but I'm talking about South Africa, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
This is delicious. I'm going to give it a little taste.
Another thing that I would like to also chat about, which is quite exciting, is we've launched...
You can chat about anything you want.
Thank you, Troy.
It doesn't have to be beer. It doesn't have to be beer related.
Oh, in that case. So one of the cool things we've done recently is we launched our own beer into the Zimbabwean market. And obviously Zimbabwe's been in the news in the last week. Which
it has.
With good old Bob. And so what we did is we brewed a session-style IPA, and we launched it into the Zim market, and it's been doing really well. We're really excited with it. And it's called the Morning Glory. I'm just going to show Troy a picture here, and he can describe what the imagery looks like for the branding for this beer.
I feel like you've shown me, or I've seen it somewhere, but let me have a squiz.
And you can just describe to me what you're looking at.
Yes, you have shown.
What are we looking at, Troy?
So it's a typical beautiful African sunset.
Kariba. Lake Kariba sunset.
Is it Kariba? I was going to say definitely that's Lake Zambezi or the River Zambezi in the background, or Lake Kariba, as you said. The
classic image of Lake Kariba is the clouds trees coming through as well.
Birds flying. There's
colors.
A leafless tree, and what appears to be a majestic sunset with a silhouette of an elephant.
Cool. Tell us a little bit more about the elephant and the name of the beer.
I'm going to zoom in on the elephant there.
Great.
It's a beautifully drawn elephant. Looks like a male elephant, and I can say that because he appears to have 5 legs and or a second trunk. Yeah, no, there's.
So he's called the Morning Glory, and that elephant is
Morning
clearly
Glory.
a bit of a morning glory there.
The American Pale Ale. Taste the Kariba sunrise. No, this is beautiful. How old is this beer?
That just launched 3 months ago in the Zim market, and I'm getting some very positive feedback. Zimbabwe market's a new up-and-coming craft beer market. At the moment, there's only 1 or 2 breweries. There's a Canadian guy, actually, that's just opening one up in Vic Falls. Really cool guy. And, if anyone's traveling to Zim, keep it on your radar in the next couple of years. It's going to be a cool market for some good beers.
Sure. I mean,
if Bob moves aside.
Yeah, I think South Africa is still very much an untapped market for foreigners for the craft beer scene. But, yeah, I mean, if you want to put a country further back. Zim is definitely like something that's just completely untapped. Yeah, and you really do have a country that will buy that product or just drink anything than.
Yeah, it's a very unstable country at the moment, and it's difficult to operate in that country.
Yeah,
and to
I
get
can
money.
imagine.
That's the problem. But things are looking good in Zim, and so shout out to all our Zim listeners.
Shout outs.
And we love you, and we think it's going well.
Yeah, no, we wish our Zim friends the best of luck. We hope for good things to come. I can imagine, even if it is a small change is good, and let's just hope something big happens.
100%.
Back to this delicious beer, the Scallywag IPA. It is delicious.
So speaking of the Scally, some exciting news from the Drifter front, which we released a few months ago. After many years of searching, I managed to finally track down my old man's old yacht, the Drifter yacht, which is what we named the company after.
So your mom and dad traveled around the world in the 70s before you?
Before I was born. So in the early 70s, my dad spent 5 years building the yacht in his back garden. At the time, he was actually working as a diamond diver up in the Skeleton Coast off Namibia. So he would leave for like a month, work, make some money, come home, work on the yacht for a couple of weeks. And so it took him 5 years to build the yacht. Once he was done, then they popped it in the water in Hout Bay, and hurrah, it floated.
Yeah. Ta-da!
Thankfully.
Yeah.
And then him and my mum, they sailed all around the world for about 10 years, just traveling and doing odd jobs here and there and exploring.
That's amazing.
Incredible adventure, and that's why we named the company after that whole ethos and that vibe. And
but tell me, how did it come back into your life?
So yeah, this is what's happened now. So I started Drifter 3 years ago, and I've always wanted to find the boat, and been looking for it. I wonder who owns Drifter and what's happening with it. And then recently I was sitting at dinner with a guy, and he was like, "Oh, Nick, by the way, I just bumped into this guy that owns your dad's old boat. By the way, he lives in Mauritius and he never uses the boat. You should chat to him." I was like, "What?" So I phoned him up, and
eyes open up.
Yeah, and we managed to get the boat back. She's an old rust bucket. She's been abused over the last 4 years, hasn't been used at all.
Okay.
And so we got her back. We put her on the hard. We've done a lot of repairs and stuff, so we're bringing her back to her former glory. And I'm happy to say, end of this month, we're going to be sailing her around from False Bay to Cape Town here at Royal Cape Yacht Club, and we'll keep her there. And you'll be seeing her off the Clifton foreshore. We're going to be sunset cruises. We're going to do a lot of cool promos.
Boyche, with all the Joburg boys.
Like us on Facebook, and you'll hear all the details of how you can get onto the boat. We're going to have 2 taps on board, permanent beer flowing. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun summer.
I'm very excited.
We're very excited as well.
I'll be there with my my Speedo and my sunscreen.
Oh, I'm excited. What color is your Speedo?
I have a few Speedos.
I don't want you to see you in your white one, though.
No, I have a brown one. I have a very, very bright orange one, which is great.
Oh, that sounds good.
I have one with flames on it.
Do you have a furry one?
I don't have a furry one.
Okay.
And then obviously you got the stock standard.
The Lifeguard Red.
Yeah. The Lifeguard Red. So, yeah, actually I might need to purchase a new Speedo. The problem is, there's not enough variety of Speedos out there. So
speaking of Speedos, sorry to derail you, and exciting outfits.
This is good. Is Drifter going to launch a Speedo?
No, but every year you'll see me.
Yes, okay.
I see in my Santa Kini. So this year, very exciting, as usual, we'll be doing our annual event, Santaki, which we do once a year, usually around Christmas time, December. It's happening in the first 10 days of December. Just check out our Facebook page for details close to the time. And full charity event again. And what we do is we get a whole lot of people together. We all dress up as Santas, led by myself, the Santa Kini man. We have a ranger-driven cart. So it's usually a horse and cart. We dress up the horse as a ranger. And nice. We usually make it about 50 to 80 rand a ticket, and that gets you a whole bunch of gifts. So we buy all the presents, we load up the ranger and the cart, and we head through all the areas of Woodstock, and we give out gifts to all the kids. And it's a really, really fun way to spend your afternoon.
In your Speedo?
Oh, I'm in the Santa Kini, but a lot of other guys are dressed as Santas. There's some sexy Santa girls. There's also some big fat old granny Santas, all sorts. It's a proper dress up. So you can go all out.
Something for everyone.
Yeah. So this year we'll be starting at Woodstock Brewery like last year.
Okay.
So you can leave your cars there. We'll then head through to the Co-op. where we're going to drink all the co-op beers. We're also going to be drinking some Ukamba beers from Letu, which is awesome. And then from there we head through the streets in a maze, and we end at Drifter Brewing Company, where we have a big braai and a big party, after party.
Oh,
So it's a really fun event. We have it every year, and I really
sorry,
recommend
just remind me
you
of
join
the
us.
date. Not you haven't settled on a date yet. The 10th, no 8th, 9th. Wait,
I'll let you know the date in a minute.
Okay. Because I know that December's got a calendar is starting to get chock-a-block now. We've got the Cape Town Festival of Beer. That's 1, 2, 3 December, and
Okay, so to confirm,
Yes,
the date
confirm.
is the Saturday, the 10th of December this year.
brilliant.
It's going to be a great event, and yeah, please all pull out. It's for a good cause. We really have fun.
No, don't pull out. Don't pull out anything from the Speedo. Just rock up. I think rock up is a better.
Okay, keep it in,
Yeah.
but come rock out,
Yeah.
rock up and rock out.
Yeah. Let's just cut that right there before we add anything.
Anyway, that's another fun event on our calendar, and we'd love all the listeners to please join us.
I see you guys are doing some events now. You're doing some evening classes or something like that. Are you open on just Fridays, or are you open other days?
So
now?
yeah, at the brewery, obviously we're a production brewery, so during the daytime it's busy, it's a production environment, we don't really want people walking through. But in the evenings, Friday evenings, we're open. Every Friday you can come through to the Drifter Bar, and yeah, it's a good vibe, really fun. And then this time of year we're really busy with a lot of bookings and people's birthday parties, corporate events, so people actually rent the space out. If you have a birthday party coming up, whatever, pop us an email. We rent the space out. Can hold a maximum of, say, 150 people.
Wow.
Minimum.
Okay. That's a lot.
But we even open it up if it's even an event of 20 people. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of exciting stuff happening. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we've just taken over a few buildings next door to us, so we're expanding quite nicely, and that'll all be up and running by next year.
Very exciting. I'm very excited to see you guys grow and stuff like that. Yeah. Very excited.
Cool. Did you say you had a song lined up?
People wanted some Mamma Mia.
I love a bit of ABBA.
But we've played that. I tell you what, let's we'll play a quick song and then we'll come back to
Ocean Age Triple.
the finale. I searched some songs and I think this is the one that's kind of fits today's theme. We'll play one song. Oh yeah, welcome back. Oh, I just had to run out quickly. It's exciting.
Always exciting. Here
How
at
was
Beer Time.
your pee break?
It was fantastic, thank you. Very relieving.
I got a quick question from someone.
I love
They
questions.
wanted to know if you still teabag your coconut ale.
Oh, of course.
Do you?
So the key behind the coconut beer is how we add the coconuts. And we have this patented technique called teabagging.
Ooh, I'm very excited.
Would you like me to explain it in a bit more depth?
Yes, I think.
I think I know who asked that question, and very upset with them right now. So basically, it's the same as how you add whole cone fresh hops to a brew when you're brewing. We add our coconuts. We first roast, then we toast our coconut, and then we add them into these big sacks that we dunk into the boil, and that dunking technique is what we call teabagging. So we're teabagging our coconuts into the boiling water.
And I'm sure you
During the whirlpool.
experimented, and that's what you feel is the best extraction for that coconut.
Yeah, so we've been playing with a lot of different techniques, and we actually do a combination of teabagging and a couple of other ones.
Okay, let's see what our competition is looking like.
Cool.
Trying to find. Still trying to figure out this whole social media thing.
I'll keep the viewers entertained for a little while.
You can tell me some stories. Regale me with some tales.
Okay, so the next beer we're going to be trying is this Belgian triple that we've done.
A Belgian triple.
So it's been aging underwater. This batch has been underwater for 13 months now. Just off the coast on the Atlantic seabed, and what we found with this beer is it's turned out really well with those aging conditions. It's cold, it's dark. What happens is the bottles are getting pushed around and moved around the whole time with the currents and the and the tides. And that's definitely aided in the secondary fermentation of the bottle. When you look at the bottle, so I'm looking at one right now, it's covered in some weird...
How many bottles are there, do you reckon?
So this batch is only 900 bottles that we have available. We have 2 other batches that are on other locations that are a bit newer. So we've been experimenting with putting them in different spots as well. And it's a limited edition, so it won't be more than, say, 1,000 bottles per year so far. And every bottle is unique. So if we leave all the growth and the weird stuff all over the bottle, we just rinse them with some sanitizer so the smell goes away, because it smells pretty rough because it's been underwater.
You can imagine.
When I first dove down, so on Troy's page over there, you can have a little look at the video of some GoPro footage when we first went down to retrieve the beers. You can see there's like starfish and reef growing over all of them. And
that was amazing. That was
amazing
crazy.
Going down there. I was like, what? This is awesome. And so bringing those up, we've got all this growth all over the bottle. So every bottle is completely unique and looks completely different. This one we have in front of us has probably got about, I'd say 300 to 400 different little barnacles growing up on them. A couple of hairs coming out, a little bit of muscle, all sorts of weird stuff. And so what it is a 750ml traditional champagne bottle. It's quite thick. It's a thick bottle. It's green. And on the top, it's got a wax seal. So when you first get your bottle, you're going to have to get a knife and try and break through that wax seal. And then once that's gone, then you come across this closure, which is called a zork. So that was the first...
Sorry, a zork.
A zork.
Okay.
That was the first challenge with this project, was how are we going to close this champagne bottle? So we can't use a traditional cork because it's gonna breathe, and a lot of salt water is going to go in, and it's just going to ruin the beer. So we found this incredible company that brings in these closures called Zorks, and how it works is it's mostly plastic and rubber, and it's got a whole lot of teeth inside it. But the cool thing about the Zork is that it's a resealable closure. So I'm going to give it over to you because I've opened a lot of these. So,
I'm very excited.
So you can open them.
So I don't need a saber or anything to open this. This is just straightforward twist.
No. Yeah, see if you can figure it out.
Okay.
It's like one of those milk things, so you need to undo the winding.
Click to reseal. Okay.
So, first thing you want to do is grab the bottom corner.
Yeah.
No, with your fingers. And it'll unwind. It's like the milk.
Wow. This is very exciting, people. If you're listening, am I one of the first people to try this beer?
100%.
I'm actually honored. This is, you get a moments when you, in your industry, in your business, when you just, this makes it all worthwhile. Okay. Let me just not ruin there we go. Okay. I see what you're doing. It's a peelable thing. I'm very excited. It's peeling. Okay. For those of you who are listening, I'm peeling as if I'm taking away the plastic like a milk carton when you peel away the top. But this is from the bottom up. Oh my God. Nick, this is amazing. It's like, this is Christmas. Tell me a bit more about when I'm opening this, your selling technique. That's, I feel, is something that people need to know about. How can they get one of these?
As you know, at Drifter, we like to play around with crazy, weird ideas people haven't done before. And that's exactly what we're doing with this beer. So before we start, I just wanted to give you a little write-up.
Yes, show me. Tell me.
So how we're doing this beer, obviously there's growth all over the bottle, so we don't want to get rid of that growth. It's part of the fun.
It's beautiful.
So we don't want to get rid of it to put a label on. So this bottle is going to be packaged in a tube like a fine whiskey or a fine bourbon. Mm-hmm. And on the tube, it's got some incredible artwork from our very talented drawer and designer who does all of our artwork, Beth Austin. Shout out to you over in Portland, Oregon, in the US. All hand-drawn, beautiful color. And on the back of the bottle, it's got a little description, so I'm going to read that to you.
Give it to me. Give it to me good.
Say goodbye to Nick, and welcome to the Belgian Triple. Hi. Open slowly. I'm not used to the environment up here, as I've been sitting on the Atlantic seabed off Cape Point for most of my life. I love it down here because it's dark, cold, and there's continuous ocean motion, which helped me in my secondary fermentation. I am a classic Belgian-style triple, and some say I taste like hints of banana and citrus. You can enjoy me right away, or you can put me in a dark, cold spot for many more years to come. I'm the first of Drifter's limited edition ocean-aged beer, and next year you can meet some of my friends as well. So that's, thank you, Triple. That's well worded, thank you.
Was that your
Metropole voice.
Titan voice. Who's the king of the ocean?
Yeah.
Titus.
Triton.
Triton.
That's it. So, let's
Hello.
without further ado, let's open it. I'm very excited.
Titus.
So, yeah, like a champagne cork, pop that puppy.
Oh, really? Okay.
Just pull. Straight up.
Oh, my
Oh,
word. Yes. Oh, my stack. That is exciting. Wow. Ooh, I'm going to pour it. Okay.
If you do want to get your hands on one of these beers, we're going to talk about the selling structure now, but head over to our website, click on the Ocean Age beer link, and type your email address in there now.
I can actually feel that the Tasting League captains just like be very envious with what's happening now, but I can just tell them, guys, this is super exciting. Ooh.
Okay, I'm going to hand over to Troy for his first tasting notes and description of the beer.
Critique. I will not use my Titus voice. Okay. You got your hands up like glory. Okay, I'm picking up a nice citrus. I don't know if it's my mind, but my mind's saying seaweed, just because it's been at the bottom of the ocean, but I'm trying to not let that influence me. Okay, let me have a sip. Oh my word.
Don't fall off your chair.
That is a Belgian triple right there. Oh, sorry. I just need another sip just to make sure. My God, that's good.
So very happy with this beer, how it's turned out.
Delicious.
Thank you, sir. So one of the things about the style...
Can I try and cork this again and keep it?
You can. Pop the Zork on. That's the point.
What?
So push the middle of the cork, or the Zork. Push it before you put it on.
Push it?
Before you put it on. And now squeeze, and now let go and pull the outside down. That's it. Sealed again.
Word. That is amazing.
Incredible closure.
I'm not going to share this with anyone. This is my bottle. This is my... Come,
Pop it in the fridge and drink some later.
This is amazing. This is tasty. What is the alcohol?
So we got 10% ABV on this beer, approximately. And, classic Belgian style triple.
It's so clean.
When we first brewed it, we tasted it, and it was very alcoholic and ethanol-y, and it's just turned out a gem after aging for 13 months. Very, very happy with it.
I'm very happy with it. This is delicious. Well done.
Cheers.
Cheers. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
I won't say that Chinese word because it's a 10% beer.
And so how we're launching this is...
it's launching soon. It's this weekend, next weekend?
Beginning of next week.
Okay, great timing.
If you get on the pre-list, which you'll have to go onto our website and enter your email address in, reserve some bottles, then you'll get the unique link on the Monday in order to access the selling platform, which is all online.
Yeah.
How we're doing it is we're launching the beers at 80 Rand a bottle, which is a bargain. And as people buy, they'll go up in price. So we have certain tiered structures.
Yes.
120 bottles will go for 80 Rand a bottle. After that, the next pricing is 120 Rand, then it goes up to 160 Rand, 180 Rand, 200 Rand, and it keeps going up in price. So the majority of the bottles will sell between 100 and 300 Rand a bottle, depending on when you buy it and if you're there first. At the checkout page, it's quite exciting, so you can choose your bottle, how many you want. If you'd like it delivered directly to your door, you can have that. You'll pay an extra 100 Rand for that, and Yuppie Chef and Legal Beers will facilitate that entire operation.
Look at them, huh?
You can also choose to buy a Drifter cap on checkout. Got an upsell here, so get your Drifter merch for the summer season. And if you don't choose to get it delivered directly to your door for free and some incentive, you can come get it from the Drifter Bar any Friday after 4 p.m., between 4 and 8 p.m. on a Friday. So if you do your purchase online and you click that you want to collect it from the bar, come to Drifter and you get a free pint on the house at the bar. And then you get to walk away with your Belgian triple.
Jeepers, this is incredible. So you can order beer and then go collect it, and then you're gonna have a sneaky pint.
At the same time.
Okay.
Well, you don't want to come to a brewery and not have a sneaky pint, so we're like, let's have it on the house.
Okay. For people listening, if you do not know what to get your dad or your brother or someone for Christmas, this is the perfect gift. It's a beautiful bottle. It has a great story. Never mind being a tasty beer. Like, never mind that. You know, you've got great packaging, and that box, that cylindrical box that you've got is just beautiful.
Yeah.
The tube.
And it's the first in the world.
So this is just like a win-win. If you are lucky enough to live in Cape Town, I would say do this. If you are listening and you live in anywhere in South Africa, make sure you go sign up, because
You can still get a bottle.
me personally, I'm buying 4 bottles. So that's it. And then that's Christmas sorted. There's nothing else more to say, but Nick, this is a great beer. It's tasty. I'm so happy that you've done this. You've put so much love and effort into it, and
Yeah, we're very stoked with it at the end of the day. And
absolutely no doubt that people will jump on this and just lap it up, because it is a great story. You've put your heart behind it. You've documented it
it's been
very well.
a lot of work doing the research and getting it right, and a lot of logistics, getting all the beers down there and getting them properly secured. We lost 200 bottles in that big storm about 4 months ago.
Oh, wow.
So once this batch is released, we will release the coordinates of where those bottles went missing. And you never know. Maybe some people find them on the beach. I doubt it, though, because I scoured the whole region and found
really?
one bottle out of the 200.
Shame.
But it's been a logistical challenge with this project, but we're really excited.
The one question I have got a few times is, how are you allowed to put it in the ocean? Do you have to have a special permit, or do you just put it down there and know that it's safe?
I'm sorry, I'm a little bit sick. I can't hear you, Troy. But thank you for the question, and I prefer that in writing. No, the ocean's a big place.
Yeah.
There's more ocean and seabed on Earth than there is land, dry land.
Yeah.
So, we just found a couple of locations and we popped them down. The biggest risk for us is obviously poachers or someone trying to find them. And, the selling platform, all of these beers will be sold on quicket.co.za.
Nice.
Big shout out and thank you to the team at Quicket. Elizabeth Breslin, she's the best employee and worker there at Quicket, killing it, and she's helped us set up this whole platform. It's a pretty user-friendly environment to purchase product, and
No, we use them as well for our events and stuff like that.
So there'll be a link on our website to the page. Otherwise, you can just go to quicket.co.za and search for Ocean Age Triple.
This bottle is amazing. It's just got bumps on it, and I just want to play with it. Look, I think we've gone for an hour and a half now of just solid talking, which has been amazing. I think we're going to start wrapping things up. I've had a fantastic show. I've had a great time.
I've had a great time as well.
I'm just so stoked with what Drifter's doing. Is there anything else that you can maybe let us know about that's you got planned up your sleeve? I mean, it just seems like you do have so much going on at the moment. You're very busy at the moment. Any more traveling? Any more things that we can look forward to? Anything for 2018?
Yeah, best thing I can say is...
What do you want from 2018?
I want everything and anything from 2018. Thank you, Troy. But, just working with more local brewers, collaborating on fun projects, and just, check out our Facebook page, like us, and you'll find out everything we're doing. We've recently launched a pretty exciting advert, which went online, and we were quite excited. We got over 120,000 views on that.
That was a great advert.
Thank you, sir.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Anyone who hasn't seen it, just pop over to our homepage on our website. We try and take the piss out of some of the bigger budget adverts. We won't mention names in case SAB gets embarrassed. But that's what we're doing. Just trying to have fun and making sure we can get as much of good beer out there into the hands of people that we can.
Yeah, no, it's. I'm stoked, and I'm very excited to see what happens in the next few weeks, and I'm excited to see what happens next year.
And we'll see everyone at the Cape Town Festival of Beers this year.
That's it, Cape Town Festival of Beer, which reminds me we should probably look for our competition winner. God, I don't know how to do this. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to look at social media, because I don't know. Well, I mean, do I need to announce the winners now? Should I? It would
be nice. And then there's one more thing we need to just chat about. There's a cool launch event happening on the 22nd of November.
Yes, Rob messaged me saying that there's the Toast launch. Toast being the beer made with leftover bread. It's actually an international company that started, I think, in the States or UK, where they use leftover bread to make beer. And anyway, this Wednesday, being 22nd, tomorrow, in Greenpoint's, what's the restaurant? Oh.
Check out the details online.
Check out the details online. Let me have a look here. It's at Cafe Extrablatt, and it's 6 o'clock. It's the official launch of Toast. And look, it's going to be some nice beer. The beer is made by Devil's Peak, so I'm hoping it's going to be of high quality. And let's just say, let's just read some of these messages here from
let's
social
pick a winner.
media.
I'm excited.
Let's pick a winner. I've got a lot of also hate from people saying that they can't drink the beers with me right now. Okay, you know what? Because he's always commenting and influencing the social media, I'm going to give the tickets to Rolly, the beer geek.
Nice work.
He's actively involved.
Fantastic human being. I wouldn't pick anyone better.
Oh, he's a lekker guy. So I'm going to give 2 tickets to him to the Cape Town Festival Beer, which I'm sure he would enjoy, and I'm sure he would go straight to your stand and drink your wonderful beers that you have, being the Goza. Thank
the
you
water
for
restrictions Goza.
Are you going to call it the water restrictions Goza?
Still playing with names, so we might run a competition just now, sometime this week. Just trying to figure out a good name.
It's a good platform.
Something to do with water restrictions,
level
saving
4B,
the water.
level 4 or something like that.
That's a good one. Oh,
yeah.
Runner up there.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. So I think this is a good place to wrap it up, because I know that you've got places to go. I've got places to go. I've got things to do, worlds to conquer,
beers to drink.
Speaking of which, there is the podcast, which I've just launched this last week. So if you go onto iTunes, you will find the wonderful podcasts, these shows recorded. Nick, you can listen to yourself on iTunes. So that show is coming up soon. So this is pretty cool. So I'm finally a podcaster. That's
well done.
I'm pretty
Good
stoked.
work.
I'm pretty stoked about that. Okay, I need to try and do some work after this 10% ocean aged beer. Nick, thank you very much for being on the show.
Always a pleasure. It's great to be here.
Unbelievable to have you on the show. And to everyone listening, thank you very much. As always, to all the Two Oceans Vibe listeners, great to have you. To all the beer fans, beer nerds, beer lovers, I'm so stoked that you dropped by. Let's play out with some music.
Great. Thank you, Joy.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Have a good one, my man.
We'll see you guys soon. Ciao, ciao. Thanks for listening, guys and girls. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Just search for #BeerTime. That's #BeerTime written out in full. Hope you enjoyed the show, and check you next time. Cheers.